Good morning to all in my YouTube channel. In the last class, we will discussing about the handoff and the capacity of cellular network. Now, firstly, we will discuss in very brief what we have talked earlier. So, the first slide is recapitulation. The last class we have discussed about the cell capacity and reuse, and I explained you how we can increase the capacity of cellular network. The capacity of cellular network can be increased by increasing the number of clusters in the particular area depending upon the traffic density. But we have seen there is a trade-off between the capacity and interference. If you reduce the cluster size, that means the cluster number, if you will increase, the interference is also going to increase. So you have to select reuse distance between co-channel cell in such a manner, firstly, we are able to minimize the interference so that the capacity of any cellular network can be increased. We have also discussed channel assignment strategy. In general, there are two types of channel assignment strategies we have seen. The first is static channel allocation, or you can say the fixed channel assignment strategy. And the second one is dynamic channel assignment, fixed and dynamic. Then we have discussed various types of handoff strategies such as umbrella cell approach, zonal concept, etc. In general, there are two types of handoff. One is hard handoff for the GSM network, and the other is soft handoff used in CDMA technology. Now today we will discuss a very important topic associated with the cellular network is cellular interference. Interference is a major limiting factor in the performance of cellular radio. It limits the capacity and increases the number of dropped calls. It is well known to all of us, if we are not able to reduce the interference between the co-channel cell, then the capacity of the cellular network is going to be decreased. There are a lot of dropped calls in the cellular network. So firstly, we have to minimize the interference. There are various sources of interference include such as another mobile in the same cell, a call in progress in neighboring cell, other base station operating in the same frequency band. The first region of interference is another mobile in the same cell. So if you and your friend may be sitting in the car, maybe in home, at the same time if you want to make a call, there are two calls at the same time is in progress. So there could be a possibilities of interference. Second reason is a call in progress in the neighboring cell. So if there are two cells which are adjacent to each other and the number of subscribers are engaged in call, there could be possibilities of interference. And the other one is other base station operating in the same frequency band. We are talking about the co-channel interference. Co-channel cells are those cells which are using the same frequency band, and the interference between them are defined as a co-channel interference. Is that clear to you? Interference is more severe in the urban areas such as Rajendra Nagar and the Rampur Garden civil lines in the Bareilly, due to the greater RF noise floor and the more number of mobile station and the base station. It is well known to all of us. We will discuss about the Rajendra Nagar. The number of subscribers are very large. There are large number of MS and base station, so there is a problem of interference also. So you have to minimize the interference in that area if you want to maximize the capacity of the cellular network. Now here we will discuss about the effect of interference on the cellular network. Interference on voice channel causes crosstalk, noise in the background. Interference on control channel causes error in digital signaling, which causes missed call, blocked calls and dropped calls. It is well known to all of us, As far as wireless system, wireless communication is concerned, we are having two types of channel. One is voice channel, which is used for carry the traffic, which is used for carry the voice signal or voice data. And the second channel is control channel, which is used to control the information is being propagated in the wireless scenario. We are talking about the traffic, we are talking about the signaling channel. So we are having two types of channel. One is the traffic channel and the other is signaling channel, or it can also define as a control channel. So if there is an error in the control channel, there are three problems: missed call, block call, and the drop calls. More on interference. There are two major types of interference. First one is the co-channel interference and the second one is adjacent channel interference. As far as co-channel interference is concerned, it has been explained to you. The channel, the cell which are using the same frequency band are defined as a co-channel cell, and the interference between these co-channel cell are defined as a co-channel interference. The second one is adjacent channel interference. If there are two cells which are adjacent to each other are defined as a adjacent cell, and the interference between them is defined as a adjacent channel interference. So here we will discuss about co-channel interference, and then we will discuss about the adjacent channel interference, how we can remove it, how we can reduce these type of interference so that maximize the channel capacity, that means the supported number of subscriber in the particular region. CCI is caused due to the cells that reuse the same frequency set. These cells using the same frequency set are called co-channel cell. We discussed to you. ACI is caused due to the signal that are adjacent in frequency. Here we are talking about the adjacent cells. Now the detail of the co-channel interference. Let me put one cell and the shape of the cell is hexagonal. Here this is serving base station in the middle of the hexagonal, center of the hexagonal. Let me put another mobile station. And then what is going to happen? You have to repeat this cell to form a cluster. So there is a cell which are having radius capital R, another cell, another, and repeat. So this is your first tier, and the corresponding cell are defined as a co-channel cell which are using the same frequency band. And the distances of these cells located in first tier is D1, D2, D3, D4, D5 and D6. So we are assuming the mobile station is located at the edge of the cell, central cell, and the nearby cells are having the distance D1, D2, D3 and so on. So this is your first tier. And similarly, you can also draw a second tier as far as co-channel is concerned. Co-channel cells are concerned. But the interference between the second tier with respect to the candidate cell are very less. So we will consider only first tier. Because it is well known to all of us, if the distance between the co-channel cell you will increase, there is less number of interference. So there is no focus, there is no need to focus on the second tier. Unlike thermal noise, CCI cannot be overcome by increasing the carrier power of the transmitter. Is that clear to you? So it is well known to all of us, as far as signal to interference ratio is concerned, if you increase the signal power, that means you can beat the interference. You can minimize the interference level by increasing the signal power. But in this case, this is not possible. Why? Because if you will increase the transmitted power, what we are doing, we are creating the more interference our friend, which are using the same frequency band as I am using. This is because any increase in the transmitter power increase the interference to the other co-channel cell, creating OR-on noise. For similar size cell, the CCI is independent of the transmitted power and depends upon the cell radius, capital R, and the distance to the nearest co-channel cell, capital D, as I have already discussed to you. To reduce the CCI, the co-channel cell must be physically separated. I am talking about the reuse distance. So the distance must be high, larger distance. The co-channel reuse ratio is defined as a Q is equal to the D divided by R, distance between the co-channel cell and the radius of the cell. It determines the spatial separation relative to the coverage distance of the cell. For hexagonal cell pattern, capital Q is equal to D by R, where Q is the reuse ratio, is equal to the under the root of 3n, where capital N is your cluster size and n is equal to I square plus j square plus ij. Does a smaller value of Q provide a larger capacity but higher CCI? Is that clear to you? So if you will increase the capacity, your cluster size has to be reduced, so that we are using the more number of cluster for covering the particular region. But the distance between the co-channel cell is also going to be increased. Not increase, it is going to be decreased. So the interference will also going to be increased. Hence there is a trade-off between the capacity and interference. So if you will increase the capacity, that means somewhere interference is also going to increase. So firstly you have to minimize the interference so that we are able to maximize the capacity of the cellular network. Calculation of signal to interference ratio. The signal to interference ratio for the mobile is S by I is equal to S divided by summation of I is equal to 1 to the m, small m, capital I, suffix I, where S is the desired signal power and II is the interference caused by the ith co-channel interference. So here we are having a 6 co-channel cell, so there are 6 interfering cells. Now the receipt power, it is known to us defined as a P naught D divided by D naught to the whole power minus n, where small n is the path loss exponent, D naught is your reference distance and P naught is the reference power corresponding to the reference distance D naught. So the average receipt power at the distance small d is given as P naught is the receipt power at the reference distance D naught and n is the path loss exponent. Now here we will calculate the S by I. If di is the distance of ith interferer and the receipt power is proportional to the di to the power minus n, where n is the path loss exponent and I is the ith interfering cell. The path loss exponent n, let us assume the range is between 2 and 4. Thus the S by I for a mobile can be written as S by I is equal to R to the power minus n divided by summation I is equal to 1 to m di to the power minus n. For only the first layer of equidistance interfering m in all. So we are assuming all the co-channel cell with respect to the candidate cell are having the same distance. We are talking about the equidistance interferers. So S by I is equal to D by R to the power n divided by capital M. D by R, it is known to as under the root of 3n divided by small m, and in this case small m is equal to the 6 because there are 6 interfering cell as far as candidate cell is concerned in the first tier. For a hexagonal cluster of cells, let me put the mobile station at the center of the cell. This is the first co-channel cell, second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth. There are 6 interfering cells which are co-channel cells. And the distance D1 is equal to the D2 equal to D3 is equal to D4 equal to D5 and D6. So in this case, the S by I is equal to 1 by 6 D to the power D2 divided by R to the power small n. Hence S by I is independent of cell radius, is depending upon the cluster size. Design parameter. So there is a numerical problem. Let us assume the desired S by I is equal to 15 dB, which you want to maintain, and the path loss exponent is n is equal to 4. I am talking about a dense urban area such as Connaught Place in Delhi. So here we have to determine what is the required reuse factor. So firstly we will try n is equal to 4. So there is a hit and trial method by which you can determine the value of capital N, and after that you can determine the value of reuse factor 1 by n. Let us assume small n is equal to 4, capital N is equal to 4. For small n is equal to also 4. So you will determine the value of D by R and it is equal to 3.46. So S by I is equal to 24, and if you will convert it into the decibel, you will get 13.80 decibel. Clearly, it is less than desired signal strength which you want to maintain for the particular coverage area. So we will move for the higher cluster size, capital N is equal to 7. Again you will determine the value of D by R, and you will get 18.66 decibel, and it is higher than desired S by I, which is 15 decibel. That means n is equal to 7, so the frequency reduced factor is equal to the 1 divided by 7. This is the example 2. Let us assume the design parameter. The desired S by I is equal to the 15 dB which we want to maintain, and the path loss exponent now decrease, n is equal to 3. We are talking about the suburban area such as South Delhi, in the South Delhi. So here we have to find what is the required use factor again. Again hit and tell is used, n is equal to 7. You will determine the D by R and the correspondingly S by I ratio, which is equal to the 12.05 dB. It is less than 15 dB. So we will move from higher cluster size, n is equal to 12, and D by R is equal to 6, and the S by I is equal to the 15.56 decibel. It is higher than desired S by I. So the n is equal to 12, so the frequency reduced factor is equal to 1 divided by 12. Again there is an example.